Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Braden Timmons, and I just got home from seeing The Conjuring Last Rites, the final film in the main Conjuring story. With The Conjuring, The Conjuring 2, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and now we got The Conjuring Last Rites. Everything else in between has been a spin-off that has connected to the main Conjuring story. It's become this entire franchise over the course of the last 12 years. It's literally crazy to think that this franchise it started in 2013. I remember seeing the first Conjuring movie in theaters when I was in high school. And now I'm a 29-year-old man seeing the final film in this story. So it is a little bit surreal, Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, they own these roles. It's kind of hard to believe. I know I've seen some people online talk about it's hard to believe that they are not married in real life because they play it off so well on screen as husband and wife. And we'll talk more about that here soon. But before I get started into my thoughts, what are your guys' thoughts on the Conjuring franchise? Are you guys excited for Last Rites? Be sure to leave comments down below and let me know. The story of this one is pretty simplistic, guys. It's the last movie in the main Conjuring story. So this is the final case. This is the case that ended it all, where there was 4 spirits and a demon that haunted the Smurl family, and it led to a bunch of different physical, sexual activities that went on within that family, and the Warrens had to go in and stop it. That's exactly what this movie is about. And the main story of the Conjuring films, the thing that makes it is really the family dynamic. The Warrens are there to help the family. The first movie set that up incredibly strong. The second one further developed that. The second one is my personal favorite movie. And that's something that I feel like when Michael Chavez directed The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, it didn't have the element that the first 2 movies had. The opening of The Devil Made Me Do It is absolutely fantastic. If they really expanded on that and that was going to be the vibe for the remainder of the movie, I really do feel like it would have been a lot stronger than it came out to be. Outside of that, it was just a very cheap jump scare fest that didn't really work for me. So coming into Last Rites, I can't even lie to you, I was not as excited coming into Last Rites as I would have been going into The Devil Made Me Do It because of The Conjuring 2. And I love the first 2 Conjuring movies. But this one, I'm happy to say that I enjoyed immensely more than I did the last movie. And there are elements of the last movie that I like, but I feel like it lacks the characterization. Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson are very good as the Warrens in that, but the family element in The Devil Made Me Do It is nowhere near as strong as it was within the first 2 movies. Last Rites, on the other hand, what this movie does is not only does it have some very good, creepy, elongated jump scare sequences that absolutely builds on some tension. I do feel like Michael Chavez is becoming a more established horror director now that he has some experience under his belt with the movies that he's done with La Llorona, with The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and now with this one, he was able to get some experience under his belt, and this one definitely comes off as more, fleshed out scenes that definitely does get under your skin a good amount of time. Some of the jump scares are obviously cheap, some of them actually very much work. However, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as Ed and Lorraine Warren in this movie, hands down, fantastic. Great way to send off these characters. There is more characterization with them and their young daughter, Judy. We see something in the very beginning as to why Judy is as important to them as she is. And it's not just because she's their daughter. You'll see what I mean when you get a chance to experience the movie. And then Judy's boyfriend also comes into this movie and plays a pretty significant role. And I think that the performances were strong across the board. I actually cared about everybody that was within the Warrens dynamic within this movie. I thought that it was absolutely great. So characterization, check. Very, very good. The jump scare sequences, check. They absolutely do a great job here at establishing tension, at establishing if something is in a corner and you're looking at it for a few seconds and you're like, is something going to be running out at you, kind of like in Hereditary, that ending of Hereditary. There's a scene in this movie that actually kind of reminded me of that, and you'll know exactly what I mean when you get a chance to experience the film. Really, really good stuff there. The thing that really does take me out of the movie, though, is the CGI on the demons and the spirits. That has been talked about exclusively online, and I've seen a lot of conversation about it. I haven't really commented on it because, you know, I want to save it for when I'm doing my review after I've seen the movie, and it doesn't look all that different. But early in the movie, when they're there to serve as just the jump scare factor, I think they work absolutely great. I think they work just fine because it's like quick little snippets. They do their job. They get you to jolt. It's like the haunted house jump scare. Later in the movie, on the latter half of the movie, when you actually see them on screen, that's where my issue is. And I don't feel like that the final boss demon was as menacing as it could have been. Yes, there is menacing things that happen within this movie with this family, but I feel like that it could have been a lot more menacing, and they could have fleshed out that finale a good portion more, especially because when the Warrens end up with this family, with the Smurl family, they kind of take the back seat. And I mean that in, you know, the fact that their family is there, but they're not really doing a whole lot. Nothing is really happening to them. There's more characterization with them earlier in the movie than there is in the latter half of the movie when the Warrens are literally within their house. And that's one thing that the first two Conjuring movies completely nailed. It's like, you know, you've got the story with the family. You've got the story with the Warrens. They come together, and then it's almost like the Warrens are there solely to help them, and we're also continuing to build characterization with the family. That's one thing I didn't like about The Devil Made Me Do It. That's also something that I don't really like here, because I was on board with this family early in the movie. I actually felt for them. I was like, oh my God, yes, Michael Chavez finally understands how, and it's not all him too. It also comes down to the script, but it's like, oh my gosh, yes, they finally are doing what they did with Conjuring and Conjuring 2, and they are giving this family characterization to be able to care about when shit actually goes down. And they do a good job with that for like the first half of the movie, and then the last half of the movie, it just kind of falls flat there. And I feel like that they rushed the final, like the big finale that they have been building up to for the duration of the movie. So, you know, it's got some really good elements, but it's got elements that I feel like could have been better. I will say that the final scene of this movie is fantastic. I have no complaints about the final scene, or really the final two scenes of this movie. And I'm not talking about the finale, because I know I criticize the finale. I just mean the final two scenes are absolutely wonderful. Very good send-off to the Warrens. Overall, as a story, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, pat yourselves on the backs. Give your guys', give hugs to you guys. That you guys have been absolutely incredible throughout this entire franchise. They should be incredibly proud of the work that they put into these characters. They made Ed and Lorraine Warren come to life in a very likable manner. Respect to them. They're going to be missed dearly if they continue these movies in anything and they're not going to be present, because they are fantastic across the board in every movie that they've been in within this franchise as these characters. Could not be happier with the send-off that they gave them at the end, and of course they're just great to experience throughout the course of the movie. So overall, fitting finale. Could have been a little bit stronger, but it's definitely a good send-off for the Warrens. I'm going to give The Conjuring Last Rites 3.5 out of 5 stars. So with all that being said, post your guys' comments down below. Let me know, what do you guys think of The Conjuring Last Rites? Are you guys excited to see The Conjuring Last Rites, or are you just kind of like over this franchise? Whatever your thoughts are, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you guys like this, don't forget to join this channel on its journey to now 25,000 subscribers, and I will see you guys in my next video.